What happens when spears take on rifles and win? In 1879, one of the world's most powerful empires marched into Africa, confident, armed to the teeth, and certain of victory. But at the foot of a lonely mountain called Isandlwana, they were brought to their knees by warriors wielding nothing but spears and shields. This isn't the story you read in textbooks. This is the Anglo-Zulu War, and it's unlike anything we've covered before. Let's dive in. Chapter 1. An Empire on the Move, a Kingdom in its Way. By the late 1800s, the British Empire was at its peak, controlling a quarter of the world's population. In southern Africa, Britain aimed to consolidate its grip, uniting various colonies, Boer republics, and independent kingdoms under one imperial banner. But there was one major obstacle: the Zulu Kingdom. Fierce, disciplined, proud, under King Cetshwayo, the Zulu nation wasn't just resisting, it was thriving. Their military was highly organized, their warriors trained from youth, and their homeland fiercely protected. To the British, the Zulus were a threat to order. To the Zulus, the British were invaders. Two worlds, one inevitable clash. Chapter 2. Who were the Zulus? Who were the British? The British Empire. By 1879, Britain saw itself as the bringer of civilization and control. Southern Africa was rich in resources: gold, diamonds, trade routes. Leaders like Sir Henry Bartle Frere saw the independent Zulu Kingdom as a problem to be solved, by force if necessary. The Zulu Kingdom. But the Zulus were more than warriors. They were a nation rooted in tradition, culture, and unity. Founded by the legendary Shaka Zulu in the early 1800s, the kingdom had become a powerful military force. King Cetshwayo didn't seek war, but he was ready for it. Zulu society was built around regiments. Young men trained from boyhood. They fought not just for land, but for identity, ancestors, and honor. Chapter 3. Spears versus Empire, the battles that shocked the world. This war was meant to be a quick British victory, but it became one of the most shocking defeats in imperial history. Isandlwana, January 22, 1879. British troops, overconfident and unprepared, set up camp without proper defenses. They believed the Zulus wouldn't dare strike first. But 20,000 Zulu warriors had other plans. Using a brilliant formation known as the buffalo horns, they attacked with deadly precision. The center engaged directly. The flanks swept around and encircled the British. Confusion set in. Ammunition ran low. In just a few hours, over 1,300 British soldiers were killed. Only around 60 survived. And those Zulu warriors? They had run for miles, barefoot, into battle, and still won. This wasn't just a loss, it was a humiliation, a wake-up call for the empire. Rorke's Drift, the same day. While one British column was being annihilated, just 12 miles away at Rorke's Drift, another story unfolded. Roughly 150 British soldiers, some sick or wounded, faced over 4,000 Zulu warriors. This time, the British were prepared. They built barricades from biscuit boxes and mealie bags. They dug in. They fought through the night. Wave after wave of Zulu attacks were repelled. 11 Victoria Crosses were awarded, more than in any other single engagement in British history. Chapter 4. The Empire Strikes Back. After Isandlwana, Britain was embarrassed and furious. They poured tens of thousands of reinforcements into South Africa: Gatling guns, artillery, cavalry, the full weight of empire. July 4, 1879, Battle of Ulundi. The British advanced in a massive hollow square formation. The Zulus charged with bravery, but this time they were outgunned. Over 1,500 Zulu warriors died. Their capital, Ulundi, was burned to the ground. King Cetshwayo was captured. The war was over. The Zulu Kingdom shattered. Chapter 5. How the Zulus outsmarted the empire, at least for a while. How did a force armed with spears defeat the world's most powerful military, even briefly? Tactics and terrain. Buffalo horns, formation, a classic strategy: direct assault in the center, encirclement on the sides. Brutally effective. Mobility and endurance. Zulu warriors could march over 30 miles a day. No supply lines, no waiting, just precision and speed. Psychological warfare. War was spiritual. Zulus used chants, horns, and synchronized movement to terrify enemies before the first blow. Meanwhile, the British excelled at formations and firepower, but were slow, rigid, and unfamiliar with African terrain. Failed to build fortified camps, a basic military rule. Underestimated the enemy, and paid the price. After Isandlwana, Britain adapted: stronger defenses, better scouting, and brutal efficiency. But for one unforgettable moment, speed, surprise, and strategy beat firepower and formation. Chapter 6. The End of a Kingdom, The Rise of a Legend. The Zulu capital lay in ruins. The kingdom was dismantled, divided into smaller chiefdoms to prevent future resistance. A once great nation reduced to fragments. Britain, meanwhile, buried the embarrassment of Isandlwana and glorified the defense of Rorke's Drift. The narrative was rewritten, medals were awarded, songs were sung, and the empire restored its pride. But history remembers both sides. For many in South Africa, the Anglo-Zulu War is a story of resistance, of a proud people who stood up to an empire and shook it to its core. So what do you think? Which tactic do you believe is more effective? Speed and surprise, or firepower and formation? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We want to hear from you. If this gave you a new perspective on history, hit that like button. It really helps the channel grow. And don't forget to subscribe for more untold wars, lost kingdoms, and the forgotten battles that shaped the world. Thanks for watching, and remember, history isn't just about the past. It's about what we choose to remember.